Hello, Venus companions. Mireya here. I wanted to send a little video so you could have some additional inspiration regarding your altars. I feel that we're at a really good time in this stage of our group together and in the building of our altars for us to take a little moment to check in with you, how you're doing with it. I can imagine there's a whole continuum. Some of you might be really engaged with it and creative and engaged. Some of you might be somewhere in the middle where you're connected and it's part of your life and it's been part of your life for years and it's just there. And there might be others that haven't even been able to start and feel blocked around the process and everything and anything in between that continuum. And it's all okay. It's all welcome. And I want to put myself out there. If there are any of you that are feeling stuck or blocked and haven't been able to start the altar or would like some help with it, please let me know and we can set up a time to have a chat on the phone to perhaps help you get moving with it and perhaps have an opportunity to discover what it can offer you as part of our journey together. And so, again, as the email said, today is the full moon. I'm literally sending this out right at the time or an hour before of the full moon. So today is a wonderful, auspicious day where you can sit in the fullness of the moon, of her light. It can still be tomorrow morning if you wish, or tomorrow night. And just really inviting, you could do it in front of your altar if you do have one, and inviting this opportunity to take a moment with another diving in moment with your gate, with this gate, and with the energy of that is we're inviting in this email around those places inside of us that have been left behind or frozen or numb or haven't been fully been able to connect to the fullness of your being. And that in this gate, it is such an opportunity to bring them forward, to allow the voice to come through, to allow the sounds, the expression in whatever way that might want to happen for you. So when I wanted to read something to you all about that I wrote a while back about all the different possibilities that this altar can offer you. We really would like to, if it's something that ends up happening for you, to have that as an additional space, container, place that you can come to and that can keep supporting you as you continue through your journey. So here's a writing of the different ways in which you can work with and understand your altar creation process. It can be a vehicle for our inner world, for our soul voice to come alive through metaphor, through the symbolic world, through a creative process. It can come alive through active relationship with it. It can help us connection to our bodies, to the body of the earth, as the metaphors that translate into the holding and anchor of this space. It can be a space where we can arrive at the meeting of ourselves and find an inner place of deeper, fuller, and more intimate connection. So in this, for any of you that are working with difficult emotions, for example, or difficult storylines, ancestral trauma, stories that have come before, collective issues, you can actually bring the theme to your altar space. You could create an altar for that theme in your life and let it evolve. Let it grow with you, let it give you information about how it wants to be discovered, about what it wants to say to you, about what that theme can grow into. One of the powerful pieces about creativity is that it can allow creativity and the imagination, is that it can allow us with an incredible, unexpected power, to create a new story and to reinvent a story. So this can be the place for that as you're moving into this time. We're moving also, we stepped into the equinox time. We're entering the fall in our northern hemisphere, and then eventually into the winter time. So these times are such opportunities for the invitation more and more as we move inward, in addition to what already we're doing with our Venus invitation of the goddess journey herself. The altars can be a place where we meet ourselves with strong feelings, pain, grief, longing, despair. It can help us to feel a sense of not being alone, of respite, of being part of something larger. It can be a place where we can meet our emptiness, where we can decide, if you want, you can begin again. You can decide, I'm not feeling a relationship here. I want to start over. I want to start from an open canvas. And then you sit with it, you put a cloth, and then you allow it to tell you what it needs and what it wants. And if that seems too woo-woo and strange to any of you, you just sit inside in quiet, in your intuition, in your inner guidance. You see if there's an image that shows up for you, and you can start with that and then get creative with it. Perhaps you go on a walk and there's an offering from Mother Nature that wants to be part of this, that is perhaps the healing that comes through for you that day and that wants to participate in this healing. It can be a tool to help us feel comfortable with this emptiness as a place for creation to arise, a place that can serve as an anchor while we're undergoing deep healing and transformation, a space where all the different parts of who we are can coexist and find acceptance, a canvas for creation and expression that can grow, expand, and transform in the same way our lives do. This is the other piece I wanted to mention in this video, in terms of if for any of you so far it has been a presence that is just there. I want to invite the element of relationship with it. That might really, we did some of that practice when we ignited the elements. So the invitation for all of you is that you can try that, just by the fact of sitting with it, staying in silence, opening to see what response you have, perhaps igniting a candle, offering some water as we've done. Perhaps there's a scent that you want it to be part of. And then honing in, there might be an image that you're curious about, an object that right now is really speaking to you, is bringing information. So you could sit and do some writing about that particular object, about that particular image. Ask it, who are you? What are you doing here? What are you bringing into my life? What is your message to me in this moment? And so as you allow, this interaction, this dialogue, this relation with the altar space, with the imagery, with the sacreds, you're establishing a dynamic field that is there. with this sacred space, with your altar space. And my experience has been that as I ignite them and I bring them to life in this way, in this relation way, that then it's like I can't avoid it. If I walk through my space where I've ignited my altar space, my sacred space, if I pass it without really making that connection, for example, even if it's just for a moment, I feel sometimes the same way as if I just passed my friend or my child and I didn't even acknowledge that they were just sitting there. And there's a way in which, through doing this feeding of the relational element, of the connection element, that then it's almost like a loop that then comes back in and goes back out. And this allows for those moments of sitting, asking the questions and noticing, what is happening, what is missing, what am I feeling disconnected about as we're entering, what one's expression. Perhaps another way to respond in a dynamic way, in a dialogue way, might not be the verbal for some of you. It might be that you stand in front of it and you allow yourself to have a response through your body, through posture, through dance. And you see what wants to come, or you have an instrument and you sing a song to it, or you dance with it. So the invitation in this little video is this concept of bringing to life the metaphors, the symbols that are in it, the elements that are in it, giving yourself a chance to slow down with it and be with. And then lastly, to establish this process of relationship in whatever way that calls you. And see where it takes you, see what it brings, see what it says to you. And this is a great opportunity because we're still inside of the fifth gate theme. We're right on the full moon, and it's a fiery moon with Aries. And even though there are other configurations there, I find it's a dynamic moon with also the vulnerability and the rawness that these times are bringing, and the truth speaking, the power of the rageful wrath, but also inviting an element of what is a constructive expression that will benefit me and the other and those around. So without getting into the topic of the moon, make it whatever it is for you. Sit with her. Perhaps what you choose is to bring a favorite most element of your altar. Sometimes I literally just sit in front and ask, who wants to come with me? What wants to come with me? And then you bring it outside and you let yourself be with the moon, or you sit with it and in prayer, knowing that the moon is there. So see what light she sheds on you, and if there is a deep feeling you're working with, this can be the work you do. I'm going to set up an altar for grief. I'm going to set up an altar for loss. I'm going to set up an altar for the place in me that feels disconnected. How do I want to do that? Perhaps there is an empty space in the altar that I'm going to be relating to. So there really are as many ways to enter this as your inner reality is speaking to you. There is no right or wrong. Is what I invite you to do is that it is in a space that feels good to you, that you can sit with it, and that you are treating it with this experience of endowing it with something that is precious to you. And that in that reflection of the external preciousness is your own inner precious adoration that we're working with as well. And so perhaps this altar is very focused on the goddess theme that we're working with, or that you're invoking on this theme of worth, of love, of so I will leave it at that. Just a few other lines I had in that writing. A place a place where we can connect to our daily practice, or it can serve as a reminder of it, a space for a meeting, for invocation, a place where we can be in dialogue with the sacred, the natural worlds, the cosmos, a place where we meet the mystery, the unknown, a place where we connect with our allies, our guides, our ancestors, our teachers, a place where we set intentions, we meditate, and mostly where we come to meet with our heart. A place where you have special objects, creations, gifts of nature that remind you of something, someone inspiring and close to you. So I know some of these invitations might not be new for many of you, but I wanted to just broaden it up into all the different possibilities that it can offer, and hopefully that inspire more, those of you that are not fully in it, and also for those of you that are working with it, perhaps new sparks show up. And again, feel free to contact me if you have questions, if you need a little support in how to work with it, how to move with it, and then we can go from there. Okay, thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.